This is the Mobile Tech Podcast, brought to you by worldpodcasts.com. Now here's your host, Tech Girl, Miriam Joie.
Brought to you by Mint Mobile. Stay tuned for a special offer at the end of the show. Hi, and welcome to the Mobile Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Miriam Joie, and today is Friday, March 27th, 2026, and I've got the awesome Derek Lee from Android Central here. Hi, Derek. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here again.
Absolutely. Listen, it's cool to have you on because Nick, your colleague, was supposed to be on. And, last week I told everyone I had Nick Gray, and I was like, there's another Nick coming next week. Nick's not feeling well, so he dispatched you, which is kind of cool. I mean, I had you on my list, so like you're an early arrival on the podcast. You've been on a show before, so it's nice to have you back. I appreciate it.
Yours.
I want to talk about a couple of phones that you and I have reviewed recently. I have the iPhone 17e here, and a lot of people are going to be like, oh, whatever, overpriced, whatever. Why would you buy that? And, I hear that. There's a lot to be talked about. But you have a phone that is like kind of like a competitor to the S26 Ultra, maybe?
In a way, I think I would call it a competitor in certain markets, maybe.
Okay.
It's like a cheaper, affordable S26 Ultra is what I'd call it.
Well, let's find out if it's actually able to compete because, Tecno, which is the brand, is an Infinix, are kind of like under the Transsion, umbrella. They're really great. Like I used to get their phones. I don't know why they don't send them to me anymore. And I used to always appreciate them. Even if the software is a little wonky I'm talking for me, my experience like with 3 or 4 years ago, right? So things might have changed. But back then I thought to myself, these phones are definitely going somewhere. Like they're onto something. Price is great. The camera performance I felt was always pretty solid on these phones. Even though there were, again, software and then updates, like who knows about do you ever get updates on these things? But the tech was solid, and so I'm curious to hear how things have evolved, especially since they're targeting kind of the flagship market now. And then we have a bunch of news. We have so much little stuff that is kind of like, wow, like some of it, and some of it is like, haha. So let's dive in. What are your thoughts, having probably not touched it? The iPhone 17e.
Well, the iPhone 17e, that's an interesting one. It's look, I there are some things that I like about it. I think it looks great. I
Yeah, it
think
does.
that I like that it's small.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like small phones are kind of going out of fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And so like to have a phone with a 6.1-inch display is nice. I know a lot of people still wish that we had like the iPhone mini. And I think like Asus on the Android side, like they stopped making their
Yeah, that's
small
so sad. I
phones.
love that phone so
So,
much.
we're kind of like, everything else that was small is kind of going up. Even like Samsung's phones are kind of like slightly moving up in size. So I do like that it's small. And there's a lot of other things that I think for the price point make it maybe worth it to certain people. Like the fact that it has Qi 2, magnetic charging, like the
Yeah.
magnets built in. I know that was something that I think the 16e did not have.
Yeah, exactly. That was
Um,
the thing. Everybody threw their pitchforks in the air and was like, we're going to walk to Cupertino right now. What the hell are you doing, Apple? Yeah.
yeah, so like that, the fact that starts with 256 gigabytes of storage, which more
Mm-hmm.
Android
In this time right now for the
manufacturers need
same
to do.
price, which is like, wow,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and and like the new chip too. I
Right.
in my mind I keep comparing it to the Pixel 10a, and like there are certain things about the 10a that I prefer. The fact that it has two cameras
Of course.
instead of the one
120
on the
hertz
7.
display.
Yeah,
like
there
this.
are some things the AI,
Oh, of course. Yeah.
yeah,
The Pixel experience in general,
but
I would even say, right? Like
yeah,
the whole Pixel
yeah.
experience.
I'm not like a huge Pixel person, to be honest, but like I can see why people like the Pixel experience, and I agree. Like it's all Google, it's all just whatever. Most of Google's AI is there.
Hmm.
If you want like everything, then you'll get the Pro or whatever. But there's something to like about the 10A, but then, when you compare them side by side, like the 10A is using last year's chip. It doesn't have the magnetic charging,
Yeah,
like the rest of the 10A series does. Um, and it starts at 128 gigabytes of storage.
which is
So
egregious in this day and age, in my opinion.
yeah, and I will say, to be fair, the 10A
Mhm.
is cheaper.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, as an
so like
Android
I'll
person
give it
and
that.
a Pixel user, like 100%, I'd buy the 10A. Like, or well, probably the 9A because it's on sale for
Yeah,
$399 on Amazon right now. If
yeah.
you guys look in my description, you'll see an affiliate link. So the point I'm making and you're making, I think that is that as Android users, is no brainer. But if you're not an Android user, right, you could buy an older iPhone used or refurb. But if you're not into cameras, right, if you just want a basic camera system, you don't take photos much, you just want to scan, take a photo for reference, scan the receipt or something, like I guess a business phone or something for a business. Like this thing is amazing because it's like you're getting a really solid main camera and a solid selfie camera. You get the basics there, but it's the experience. Like if you're, we love our
Hmm.
Pixel experience, you and I, but if you're an Apple user, this chip is faster than the chip in the Neo. Like I've got the phone here. I'm going to
Mm.
show it. This is the pink version. I'm not sure if the color comes across because I'm in a very brightly lit space. And of course, white balance and stuff. As you can see, I got some notifications. This is the screen. It's got the old notch and not the pill. It's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like the Pixel 10 because it has like the bezels that are a little thicker. But honestly, it's a nice phone and it's matte glass and matte
Mm.
metal aluminum frame, USB-C down here, of course.
Yeah, it just
And
looks like a solid phone.
I just love how it feels and I love how it looks. It's like the phone simplified. Like, how phones are kind of boring, but because this phone is so simple and the color is cool, because last year they only had black and white. Now at least they have the pink. It just feels right. Like I don't know how to explain it. And the size, right? It's the same physical size as an iPhone 17, but it's got a slightly smaller screen
Mm.
because it's got bigger bezel. Instead of 6.3, it's
Right.
6.1. Now 60 hertz, as you said, single camera. Those are the negatives. But last year, the 16E for me was like, it started at 128 gigs of storage and it's $599. And I was like, the difference between that and a 16 was so big in terms of what you got. Like, and
Hmm.
and then when the 17 came out and the 16E stayed on sale, it was like, oh my God, the 17 has 120 hertz now, has the 50 megapixel ultra wide, it's so much better. Like pay the
I
$200 more
agree.
and right. But
Yeah,
then
I will say that as a non-iPhone user, the 17 was actually probably the first base iPhone that I told myself like I would probably get this.
oh, it's the best iPhone they've made in years, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Like, sure, the Pro is great, right? The Air is interesting.
Yeah,
This is interesting.
interesting.
But I think that right now, I think the 17 is going to go in the annals of history as one of the it's going to be up there with iPhone 4 and iPhone 10 or X or
Mm.
whatever it was. I think it's critical that we recognize this phone. And you're going to say, well, I'm here already, all the Android people. What's the big deal? They finally got 120 hertz. You do not understand. This is Apple we're talking about, okay? Like
Yeah.
they put a pro feature on a non-pro phone. For them, 120 hertz is something you see on MacBook Pros, on iPad Pros, on iPhone Pros. Like you don't see that. And they said, again, like they listen to their audience. The only thing we didn't like about the 16E last year, which by the way is exactly to the micrometer identical, ports, positions, everything. You can use a case from the last phone. Everything is exactly the same. It's
Mm.
kind of uncanny because you know how the 10A and the 9A are actually quite a bit different when you put them side by side. You
Yeah,
know,
which God, I hate
there's
that.
different SIM tray position, the camera pod slightly
The
different
camera is
position.
slightly different. Like
It's
you can't use the
flusher.
same case, which I
Yeah, the
hate when
phone is
companies do
thicker
that.
than last year, the 10A than the 9A. Like
Yeah.
anyway, so I feel like my takeaway is like Google really messed up with the 10A. Like they changed things. Yeah, the phone is different. Like even though it looks similar, if you look closely, there are different phones. And maybe it's cheaper to make because they rearranged the guts of it. I get all that. And they added a new modem, which means it's got satellite connectivity, which is not something to scoff at. It's very useful.
Hmm.
But This has satellite connectivity. This is 16E last year had satellite connectivity. So they didn't need to add that because it was already there. So here's the thing. So I think that the 10A is disappointing to me, underwhelming compared to the 9A last year. And because we didn't get the chip and the Pixel Snap, I think that had they put the chip and the Pixel Snap, even if they'd kept the storage at 128, I would have been like, okay, this is great. We're good. You know, even if it had been $50 more, I was saying this is great because, like, I understand inflation; it's a thing, right?
And their whole RAM situation as well.
Their whole RAM. Apple comes along and goes like, "Ha, screw you all. We're gonna make a phone that's the same price when RAM and storage are going up in price, and we're gonna give it the latest chip that's faster than the chip in our entry-level laptop." And we're going to give it MagSafe because you asked for it. And yeah, we were wrong. Basically, it's their way of saying, yeah, we were wrong last year. And then we're going to give you twice the base storage. And I'm like, in this economy? No, I agree. $599 is still too expensive for a base phone. I really wish this phone was $499. But at this point,
I almost feel like
I'm not complaining.
Apple's probably they're probably making quite a bit of a profit on this phone.
I mean, the tooling is the same, right?
They're probably just making less of a profit than they were with the 16E. And they're like, all right, we'll just eat up this little bit.
Well, actually, my point is, I think you're right, but I think they're also probably making the same profit simply because amortization on the tools. The same exact chassis, right? Think about it. The assembly is the same. The robots are the same. The motherboard is probably exactly the same. I've actually heard that you can swap motherboards. That's how close they are.
Oh, okay.
Of course,
so
if you
it's
do
like,
that,
so then probably Apple's, like, all right, we're not going to make more profit off of this. We'll make either the same amount or maybe even a little less. But like, I think it's smart what Apple's doing here, even if I, wish it had a second camera, for example. I think that's like the biggest thing for me. How do you feel about?
No, that's the biggest thing for me. If I were to rock this as my main phone, like I couldn't because I need an ultra wide. I can do without telephoto, but I need an
ultra wide. Yes, at least.
And honestly, that's why I would say that even now, if you're a savvy Apple buyer, you might want to buy a 17 non-E refurb from the Apple Store because refurb from Apple is like your brand freaking spanking new. Okay, there is not going to be a mark on that phone. All right. The only thing you're not going to get is the original packaging. You're going to get like a generic brown box for it. Whatever. You're still going to get all the accessories. The cable would be brand new. There's no SIM tray, so no SIM tool. By the way, I want to point this out since I'm in Vancouver, Canada right now. Last year's 16E had a SIM tray in Canada. So the only model that was eSIM was the US model. This year, North American, all of North America, so Canada and the US, have no SIM. And if you see it, the SIM tray was here with the power lock keys, and it's gone now. So this is a US model, but last year I asked them to send me a Canadian because I wanted the SIM tray because I love SIM, physical SIM. I like the idea of swapping them much faster. But the point I'm making here is that in the rest of the world, you get a SIM tray. In Canada and the US, no SIM. Last year was everywhere in the world you get a SIM tray, but in the US you get eSIM only. So that's a small thing. Doesn't bother me because I'm not an iPhone user as my primary. You know that I have a Pixel 10 Pro XL from Canada, right? With the SIM tray, right?
With the SIM tray.
I decided I don't care about millimeter wave because I'm on T-Mo and there's very little millimeter wave. And I want my SIM tray.
As well.
Yeah. So
look, I don't care too much. I will say I don't care too much. I thought I'd care about the SIM tray. But I also realized that not everyone is carrying around a SIM tool with them.
Well,
so
this is an us problem. This is an us problem.
It's an us thing.
It's a tech
I'm constantly
problem.
going from phone to phone, and having the SIM, being able to pop it out at home is useful. I will say that switching eSIM has not been as difficult or as
it's getting better.
It's getting a lot better. It's getting easier. Sometimes it
depends on the carrier,
minute,
right? Though, if you're on AT&T and T-Mo, it's pretty straightforward. If you're on Verizon, it's a hassle, and it's even getting pretty straightforward to go between Android and iOS. Believe it or not. So, so I've done it. Mostly, I've done Apple to Samsung, and then a little bit of Samsung to Apple. And I can't speak for like Pixel to Apple, Apple to Pixel, but the bottom line is. Also, here's the thing. We're tech journalists. We swap phones all the time. This is not a problem most people have. I can also just pick up the phone right now and call my buddies at AT&T PR, and they literally on the spot hook me up with an eSIM, right? Like it's only for testing. It lasts 2 months or something, or 1 month or 3 months. I don't know. It lasts a finite amount of time. And that's exactly what I did with this. Like, I just got an AT&T SIM provision. I just scan, like they send me a barcode and I scan it and we're done.
Nice.
Like the average person does not have that experience. Like I didn't have to transfer an eSIM to this phone. Like I didn't have to worry about it. To be fair, I have done enough iPhone to iPhone, like recover the content of one iPhone to another transfer, right? That it asks you during the transfer, if you have an eSIM on the old phone, it tells you like, it'll carry it over and this is regardless of carrier because it's Apple to Apple. Apples to apples, yes. Because of that, it will do it automatically. Like, you don't have to do a thing. Like you basically just restart the phone and it's done, which is incredible. Like I don't think Android is this smooth. I don't know if the Pixel lets you.
It actually, as far as I remember, it actually is pretty seamless. Actually, like I don't like I never have to call the carrier. Like it kind of just says like, oh, you have an eSIM. Do you want to transfer it over? Most of the time, I'll say yes. Sometimes I'll say no, and then I'll just like handle it myself when I want to. But it's becoming pretty seamless. I'm
going to stick with physical SIM as long as I can. And, because I have a connection at Google PR Canada, I was like, I got the review units from US PR. So I got all 3 Pixels, right? The 10, 10 Pro, and 10 Pro XL. And I was like, no SIM tray. And I was like, you know what? I'll just review them. But I'll ping my friends at Google Canada, see if they can help me out. And they're like, yeah, what color do you want? And what storage do you want? And I'm like, guys, I didn't even ask for that, but okay. So I said green, whatever that green color is, and I didn't ask for the bigger storage just because I felt like I was asking for too much already. So I got whatever the 256 or whatever comes standard. Anyway, I'm very happy with my Pixel 10 Pro XL with a SIM tray. But next year, who knows? Right at this point, it's very clear that, especially for North America, and that includes Canada, we're gonna be SIM trayless going forward and eSIM only. So it's very possible at some point I'm going to have to flip my physical SIM that I own and pay for on T-Mobile to an eSIM. And I'm not really looking forward to that. I like the option of just popping it out, putting another phone for a couple of days, like just a couple of days, just to test something real quick. Like Z Fold 7, right, has a SIM tray. So it was really nice. I put my SIM in there. You remember when we were in New York in July, I just like put my SIM in there and I was just like, okay, let's try that out for a couple of days. I'm not a big Samsung person, but
me and my my Razer Ultra still has a SIM tray. So just, if I need to, just pop it out.
So nice. I might have to switch away from Pixel for the first time in a while. I don't know. I don't know how I don't want to think about it. But here, the bottom line is the iPhone 17e, they listen to, like, this is so nice. Apple's finally listening to people. Like they gave us MacBook Pros with SD card and HDMI. They gave us MacBook Pros with bigger screens. They even made them slightly thicker. Now, I'm not a MacBook Pro user, but I appreciate that for those who need to do that kind of heavy lifting. And then, they gave us an iPhone 17 that is like, like really, that phone is so freaking good.
Yes,
and don't get me wrong, I would get the Pro. I have the Pro Max, the orange one. Again, Apple Canada sent me this. They sent me a 2 terabyte iPhone 17 Pro Max. And I'm like, I don't need that kind of storage. But anyway, iPhone 17e feels to me in my gut and my heart the exact opposite of what the Pixel 10a feels like. I was disappointed and underwhelmed. And here I'm like, what a pleasant surprise. And very excited in a way, because I'm like, for people who want the base iPhone and can get it for $3 a month on a plan or whatever, right? And don't care about the cameras, and they just want the best Apple experience with an A19 chip that like beats in single core and multi-core Geekbench like a MacBook Neo, okay? Like they can get that. That's going to last them 5 years with all their apps running smoothly. And battery life is really good on this phone because it has like almost 5,000 or something. And it's, well, it's probably not that high, but it's high for an iPhone. And
yeah, it's like 4,000 something.
Yeah, exactly. For an iPhone, that's pretty high. And this thing is pretty sippy in terms of power because it only has a 60 hertz display. It's a beautiful OLED. There's not, and now MagSafe, I think it's 15. It doesn't go all the way to full speed, but 15-watt MagSafe. And still most iPhone users use MagSafe. That's a critical part. So kudos to Apple for listening And Google, you got to pay attention. This is like you were so off the mark. Like
Uh,
I know things are changing all the time and it's difficult right now for everyone, right? Like I get it, but this is like so you've been following Google forever, right? Like me. And
yeah.
it's like it's so typical of them. They not only did they shoot themselves in the foot, but then when we pointed it out, when we tried to talk to them about it in the briefing, we were all like, wait a minute. You're telling us it's not the same phone, but we have no evidence of that right now. And they'd be like, well, but and I'm like, no, no, no. Like, why doesn't it have this? And they had no answers. Why doesn't it have a new chip? Why doesn't it have WaxF? Or sorry, Pixel Snap? And like, you got to stop being so, what's the word? Blind or covering your ears as much as you do Google. This is not
Mhm.
cool. Like
Yeah.
Pixel, you're doing so good on the main line of the Pixel. Like I think the 10,
Yes.
10 Pro,
The
10 and Pro
10
XL are
series is great.
brilliant phones. And yet the A, which is the one that we always looked up to because we knew you could never mess it up. You had to go and mess it up. Like, and I'm gonna say, and people, I can see, I can hear voices already saying, "Miriam, come on, they did not mess it up. It's perfectly fine." And I'm like, it is perfectly fine, but it's just fine. It's not
It's just fine.
good enough. It's
Yeah.
nice, but there it is. Oh, you got the black
Yep,
one.
there it is. Yeah, I got the black one.
I got the not the. I wanted the berry, but I got the
I
purple
did
one, which
too.
the lavender,
Oh, the
which is nice.
berry. I also wanted the berry. I'm using the Buds 2A and I wanted the berry ones so
Oh,
bad.
they send me those berry ones. If you want, I'll next
Ah,
time. I tell you what,
I'm
we're
so
gonna see
jealous.
each other sometime soon for something. You know what I'm talking about. I'm
Probably.
gonna
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
them and give them to you because I will never use those. I have a pair of A's and I do not like them. I do not like Pixel Buds in general. I think they don't sound good. I don't like the fact they don't have any stems, and they're not comfortable for me.
Well, I'm
So
the opposite. I love that they don't have stems.
yeah, no, I get that because you work out and it's probably a different
Yeah,
experience
that's
for
true.
you. Look, earbuds are super personal and I will
Oh
give you
yeah.
those
Yeah.
because they're just going to sit in my office, do nothing for years. And I haven't even opened them. Like have them.
All right.
Like
Looking forward
remind
to
me. And podcast listeners, this is a deal I'm making with Derek, so hold me responsible.
it.
All right, Derek, tell us about this Techno phone. I'm really curious to see.
All right.
Have they managed to reach Samsung levels of goodness here?
So it's so this is the Tecno Camon 50 Ultra, which sounds a lot like, Samsung Galaxy S20, whatever Ultra. Um
It looks the same
it's
too,
not
kind
like
of.
yeah, yeah, so that's the thing. So it's a flagship to Tecno. It's not a flagship as we would know it. Like it's
Right.
not running a flagship chipset. It's running
What's the price point? Give
um
us an idea.
I actually
Like
don't re-
rough.
I think it's like it's under $600.
Okay. Well, so really
US, yeah.
half the price. Okay.
Yeah, it's about half the price. And it looks like a Galaxy. Every time someone looks at it, they think it's the Samsung, which I think is hilarious. Um, but it's running a MediaTek 7 series chip,
Okay.
7000 series chip. But honestly though, the performance is great. I've not had any problems with it.
You were using it
Gaming,
at
sure you may
MWC. Like you made it your main phone. Like I was like, okay.
I did. Yeah, well, I was reviewing it, so like, I usually will like, take a phone for a spin for a good 2 weeks before I like do the review. But yeah, I made it my main phone. The performance, I was thoroughly surprised. Like, aside from, if you're playing graphics heavy games, you won't be able to go on the highest settings with steady gaming, but like, medium to high settings, like it'll be fine. Just day-to-day use was fantastic. What I was never a big fan of Techno's software,
Hmm.
but um, just doing anything on this phone feels so smooth. Like even just going from the lock screen to the home screen, like everything kind of just falls onto the display. I wonder if I can
Can you
show
show us the
you.
display? Is this a curved display on the edges?
It's a curve, it's
Yeah.
a slight curve. And I
Right.
don't like curves, but this is like not curved to the point where it's annoying. And I think that the bezels are just big enough to where it kind of negates the curve.
Right.
But they're also not annoyingly large bezels. So I think it works very well. And then here's the display.
Oh, it's
I
nice.
just like how everything just falls onto the display when I go from the lock screen to the home screen.
Yeah, that's
Just
cool.
everything
It's
is
very, very
very
smooth. I see that.
kinetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Very
just
cool.
I really enjoy this phone. I think um, performance is great. The cameras are not bad.
So what do you have in terms of cameras? I see three in the back, maybe
So
four. That's a flash, maybe.
there's
I don't know.
three cameras and I think it's a light sensor. But it's a 50 megapixel main camera. Um,
Hmm.
a I don't remember the
I'll look it
resolutions for
up
the
right
other,
now.
but ultra wide
Tecno Camon
50 ultra.
50
I
Ultra.
want to say it's a 12 megapixel ultra wide.
Okay, so it's kind of a mid-range spec phone, really, when you look at it.
Yeah,
And it
but I
comes as
think
a
the
beautiful orange
telephoto.
color.
Yeah, I wanted that, and the green. There's a green that's really nice too. I think the telephoto is actually 50 megapixels.
Yeah, I've got the specs here. 50 megapixel main sensor, f of 1.8. It's a 1 over 1.56 inch sensor, so pretty decent
Mhm.
size with OIS and phase detect autofocus. And the telephoto is 3x with phase detect autofocus, and it's a smaller sensor, f2.4 and 1 over 2.88 inch. But here's the thing: this doesn't look like they have OIS on the telephoto, which is odd. But maybe it's just a misprint. And 8 megapixel, 112-degree ultra wide. Yeah, so that's actually pretty solid, right? And then the display is like 6.78 inches. It's 1.5K display and it's
Yeah,
144
it's a
hertz.
sharp. It's a gorgeous OLED.
It looks like it's an
Um,
LTPS. It's not an LTPO, so it probably doesn't go down to 1 hertz, which is totally fine, to be honest. I mean, who cares? I
yeah,
feel like
especially for this
for
phone,
six
I like.
point, yeah, 600. Come on, you
Yeah,
know,
the cameras are fine. Like, I think they did a good job when it comes to like zooming, because it's a 3x optical, but then if you go any further, the AI kind of takes over and it does a pretty good
yeah,
job. Like even at like I think um 30 times zoom, like it kind of cleans it up nicely.
cool.
Um, and then the one thing that is also great is the battery life. This thing,
Yeah,
it's a very thin phone. Look at this. It
yeah.
is a thin
Let's see.
phone.
I've got the
It's
specs here. 7.8 millimeters. So it's not, yeah, it's thinner than average. And then the battery
Yeah, it's
is
thinner than average. It's a
6160.
6500.
Oh, okay. 6500 on yours? Because there's
Yeah,
two
there's two
versions
different
here.
variants. Yeah, I have
Hmm.
the 6500 um
Nice. So yours
milliamp
lasting
hour,
two
and
days, right?
it lasts, yeah, easily over a day. I will go to
Nice.
sleep, wake up, still have some battery, and like maybe charge it sometime in the middle of the day the next day. Um,
45
charging is
watt.
45 watt, which,
Hmm.
for this battery size, I wish it was faster, but
That's good
it's
enough.
fine. It's
Yeah.
good enough.
No
So yeah,
wireless
I'm
though, right? Does it have
no
wireless?
wireless.
Hmm.
No.
I mean,
And then
600
the
bucks.
AI, yeah. And then the AI is interesting. Techno has Ella, that's their assistant. But you can change the model that you want to use.
Oh.
Um, so if I go into Ella,
So did you
here
actually
it
use
is.
Ella?
No. But you see,
Oh wow,
I
you
can
have
choose
choices of
DeepSeek,
not just the
ChatGPT,
model
Gemini.
kind. Like on Gemini, we can change the
Yeah,
model type. This is the actual
yeah,
platform, like the actual
yeah.
company providing the model.
Meta
Huh.
AI, Grok. Yeah, so I can choose just not to use Ella and, switch it up if I want to just use Gemini. Um,
Have you done
there's
that?
an
Have you
AI
switched to
button,
Gemini? Oh, there's an
if I
AI button.
which I love because like they let you customize it, which Motorola, I hope you're listening.
Oh my God.
Um,
Don't even start. I'm
you can
so
customize it
mm,
so you can have it open, if I tap it, it just, reads the screen. If I hold it, it opens Ella. um, or I could have it open an app or something. So it's
yeah.
great. And then just they have a bunch of AI features sprinkled throughout the phone and the gallery and the camera app.
Oh, you told
I
me the
think
Zoom
tech
is AI Zoom, which is great.
yeah, and then like even there's like a gallery thing where like you can if you're using the viewfinder to take a photo, you can have it preview what it'll look like in this like gallery view, which like turns it into like a Van Gogh or something.
Nice.
Um, so it's a little cute feature, but there's a lot of interesting, like fun and useful features in this phone, and I think that Tecno is doing a good job of bringing the flagship experience to, emerging markets, because that's where techno
Well, of course.
is
So yeah, I was going to
like
ask you,
really big.
like my audience is pretty global. So what markets would they be able to buy this? Is it sold in India? Is it sold in Eastern Europe and Russia? Is it sold in
Um,
Africa? Of course, I know Africa.
yeah, Africa most likely. They haven't told me the specific markets that it will be sold in. It won't come to the US,
No,
unfortunately.
of course not.
Um, but I think I
Europe?
want to say it
Any
will
parts
come
of
to
Europe?
South America.
Yeah, of course.
Um, I think I've seen it on their
Africa.
South American website, Africa. Probably some markets in Europe. I'm not too sure.
Probably
And then
generally it's
I
Eastern,
imagine,
what used to be Eastern Europe. So like,
mhm,
uh places like Poland and the Czech
mhm.
Republic and Romania, the places like that. Right.
But
Cool.
yeah, and if you're in a market where you can get this phone and you're looking for a cheap, alternative to, a Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra, don't sleep on Tecno. The Camon 50 Ultra is a surprisingly good phone.
Great. Well, I mean, if you use it at MWC as like
Yeah.
I sometimes take phone with me on trade shows to test them because it's the ultimate test. And sometimes, after half a day, I'm like, oh no, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's not that it's, and
Yeah.
to be clear, that doesn't mean the phone is bad. It's just that it's, oh no, for that specific purpose,
Hmm.
which is an unusual purpose. So that's why I'm pointing out that the fact that
Yeah.
you stuck with it at MWC meant that it is extra special because you would have, after an afternoon, you'd have gone like, I'm going back to, my
Right.
razor or
And
whatever,
and
right?
I was carrying my Razor and Pixel. I forgot which Pixel I had.
Probably the
I had a
10A.
Pixel with me, probably the 10A. But
Yeah.
I was carrying them both with me, but they mostly stayed in my pocket. I mostly just used the Techno, so
Yeah.
that should tell you something. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Very cool. All right, so let's talk about some news. Samsung launched the A57 and A37. I've got the specs here. Very identical phones. I was actually surprised. Sometimes one
Yeah.
is smaller than the other, but these two are like twinsies. The only big difference I see here is the chipset.
A chipset.
And one
Yeah.
has an Exynos 1680 and the other one
1680,
1480. And
the
that's it. I don't see
1480.
any other
Yeah.
differences. Displays are the same, cameras are the same, battery size is 5,000
Are
milliamp
they?
hour, 45-watt wired. It's got triple camera, 50 megapixel main with a YS, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and
That's the
oh,
difference right
please,
there. The
a
ultra wide
five. Oh, yeah, 8 versus 12. You're right. And a 5 megapixel. Seriously, a macro camera.
macro
Jesus.
camera.
That's
We
so
love to see
cheap.
it.
Yeah. At least it's not a 2 megapixel macro. At least it's not a sticker
Yeah,
cam
or a
like I
two
like to call.
megapixel depth sensor.
Oh my God, yeah. But 1080p display, 120 hertz. This is not LTPO. This is not a dynamic
Right.
AMOLED. It's a regular AMOLED in Samsung parlance.
Looks like
12
the
and 8 gigs of RAM.
837.
Yeah.
Yeah, the RAM for the 837 starts at 6 GB.
Oh yeah, starts at 6 and then 8 and 12 and then the 57 is 8 and then storage is 128, 256 and 512, but it stops at 256 for the baby, the 37.
Hmm.
Yeah, look, it's fine, right? I wasn't on that briefing.
I
Did you get
wasn't either.
pricing on these? I'm kind of
Yeah,
curious what
so
US prices is.
they're both so the A37 is 449.
Okay.
And the A57 is 549. So they're both $50 more than their predecessors,
Okay.
which, I kind of get, again, given the whole RAM situation. The thing is, that everyone was saying was that like the mid-range and budget phones would feel it more
Mhm.
um than like the higher end. So I think this is us kind of finally starting to see that happen.
Yeah.
I'm happy that it's not like $100 difference, but so $50 I think is not too bad. Um,
I mean, I'm a little underwhelmed by these phones, to be honest. Like, again, I'm just looking at the specs now, and I'm like, okay, you get a big screen, and it's going to be a Samsung AMOLED, so that's going to be pretty dope. If you want a big screen phone that's affordable, that's it, right? Because there's nothing else in the
mhm,
US, right? Like, let's talk US market for a second.
yeah,
I would pick a 10A or a 9A all day long over this, all day long. Like personally, like absolutely no doubt about it. Even with the G4 chip in there, it's about the same performance as the Exynos. I'm getting wireless charging with this doesn't have. I'm getting, better cameras guaranteed. Just the image processing on the Pixel is going to be better than Samsung's. And third camera
Yeah.
is useless. We know that. We know that the 10A and the 9A can do macro by using 2x and getting close.
Hmm.
And the results are great. I've tested it. So to me, it's really the screen size versus wireless charging question here. And of course, I'm biased because I'm a Pixel person, so I don't want the Pixel software. I'm not a big One UI person. But for some
That's where I
people,
defer. I would go for the 57 mostly because of One UI. I love One
really,
UI.
you love One UI, huh?
Yes.
Strange because you're not using a flip phone from Samsung, yet you're using a Razr Flip.
Well, okay, it's a complicated thing. I love One UI. I've always loved One
I want to
UI.
hear it.
Especially now, I think it's so much better now. After like One UI 7, I think it's just become so smooth and just
Yeah,
great. Um, I use the Motorola Razr Ultra 2025. I've mainly stuck to the Razr phones, the flip phones, mostly because of the cover screen experience. The
right.
fact that out of the box, I can just use all my apps on the cover
Yeah.
screen.
Yep.
Samsung makes you go through hoops to enable that, and even then, the experience is still not perfect.
It's not the same.
It's not as seamless. So that's the main reason. I do wish that I could have that on, like, if Samsung did that, I would probably just use a Z Flip. Um, because again, like if I
You
could
like
get the
One UI.
Razer with One UI, that would be the perfect phone for me.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I just and a lot of people gave me so much hate for this too, for loving One UI. But like with the recent updates, now people are getting it. They're like, okay, now One UI is like actually like good. Um,
It's fine. Like I don't
so
hate it. I just given the
I'm not a
choice
big
of
Pixel person.
yeah, okay. For me,
Like
it's like
I don't care
it's
for
the whole
the
Pixel
software.
experience, it's all the phone, you know, screening features and all that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, Google's
and the
great
wireless
at
charging,
like
even though it doesn't have the magnets on the Pixel 9a and 10a, at least it has wireless charging. I'm surprised because in the past I thought some of the A series had wireless charging and
yeah, I'm
that they
surprised that this
removed it.
doesn't
I mean,
either.
the big screen is definitely the appeal. The Exynos chips will be fine. The cameras will be fine. The battery life will be fine. The charging speed's okay. The
Yeah, but for
pricing, man,
549, yeah, it should have
yeah,
wireless charging.
it kind of should, right? Especially in this market. Like, they're really targeting the US market. And because you know the A is super popular in the US. Like, we never think of it as tech nerds. My audience is a bunch of early adopters too. We probably don't, there's probably not too many of my listeners with an A series phone. And because we don't think about it. We always think of S, right? Like, it's like you pay a little more a month and you get an S. And that's
Mm.
fair. But I think that considering how popular the A is, they should have really put. If that thing had wireless charging, I'd be a little more like excited about it. And if it didn't have that five
But again,
megapixel,
but
you
also I
know,
think wireless, like I think having the wireless charging is like something that's worth like paying a little bit more for, and even if you can get it for less, sure.
yeah.
Um, I also I don't know. I also feel like not a lot of people use wireless
I
charging,
mean,
and
they
so it's
do
like
when they have magnets.
yeah, when they have magnets. um,
Every Lyft and Uber you get in has a freaking
oh
magnetic
yeah,
mount and has an iPhone or a Pixel
yeah.
on there, or a Samsung in a case for a
Mhm.
reason. And I feel like we forget that. I think that, you know, at home, I don't think people use wireless chargers, in general. I do, you do, maybe because we're nerds and we have them and they're floating around our home, right?
Yeah.
And most of mine don't have magnets. So, but I think the average, it's in the car. And I think that's a very Western and mostly a US Western centric thing. Like
Mhm.
in Europe, they have just normal car mounts on there when you take a cab or something. Here, it's always magnetic. Like I think this magnet thing is very popular in North America. And I think
Mhm.
it should be more popular everywhere because it is really
Oh, it should.
amazing. Like it solves a problem. Um, and I'm surprised, as somebody who reviews cars too, I'm so surprised. There's not a single car right now that I'm aware of, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, audience, that has a magnetic They all have wireless charging, a lot of them. Do you know of one? I know one was announced, but I don't think it's out yet.
Okay, yeah, I was just about to say one was just announced. Like I think I saw
I
like a
saw an
flash of
article. Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
an article like
I
maybe
know that
today or
Rivian
yesterday.
Rivian is working on putting a
Yeah, it's
magnetic
Rivian.
charger.
Yeah, the
But
R1.
it's going to be a retrofit and it's fine. Like, but I'm just saying, like, the original Model 3 from Tesla did not even have wireless charging at all. And it was a retrofit. They added like the second year in or something. And now
Mm,
every Tesla has wireless charging, but it's not magnetic. And I get a car every week roughly to drive, and they all have wireless charging pretty much, except it's not magnetic. And I'm like, how is that still a thing? How, like, especially the American car makers like Ford and GM, Stellantis. Like, how is it that you guys haven't put magnets yet when most Americans have a phone?
I
Like,
know.
most Americans have an iPhone. That's the reality. And all iPhones, except the 16E last year, have magnetic wireless charging.
Yeah,
And a lot of Android users have added a case with magnets to their phone and have magnetic
yeah.
wireless charging through the case
I mean, because
because
it
they have
keeps your
like,
phone from sliding around,
it's perfect.
and
Anyway,
yeah,
so the A
and
series
it's nice to see that
exists.
cars are catching up at least with USB-C. Now
Yeah, well,
that's
that's
like
everywhere now for sure.
standard.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah, I
pretty much.
love
And
that.
no,
But
not just
now we need to
USB-C,
get
but like high wattage USB-C is becoming a
yeah,
standard now. Like 60
yeah.
watt is pretty common in cars. So you can plug your laptop into your USB-C port, which is freaking dope. All right, so we got a whole bunch of news. I want to rapid fire through these real quick. So A series is out. Go get it if you want an A series. I say pass. But okay, S26 series just got airdrop. So that's super exciting. I've tested it on
Hmm.
Pixel before. I haven't tested it on my
Same.
S26 Ultra, but I'm sure it's fine. And it's a game changer if, like me, you're a Mac user with an Android phone, which is what I am, right? A Mac user with a Pixel, that's me. So, every now and then I have to transfer something, and Local Send has been my go-to. It's an app you can get on every platform that basically solves that problem. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. It's, you have to be on the same Wi-Fi network for it to work, but generally that's pretty straightforward. And it just works. Like a Mac app, a Windows app, an Android app, and an iOS app win. But if I don't even have to install an app,
Hmm.
that is juicy
Yeah,
and
then that just
delicious.
like removes a barrier to entry right there. I've also tested it on a Pixel and it worked seamlessly.
I've actually
Um,
used it in the real world. I went to a thing
yeah,
in
yeah.
November.
I think I used it on a Pixel. I think I was in MWC. I decided to try it and it worked like I don't know. I was just surprised at how well it worked. Or maybe I think it was here actually. But it works fine. Like I didn't
Yeah,
have to do anything special. It just shows up. My phone just shows up on the phone.
Theo, my producer, and I were shopping together, and they bought this sweater, and I took a photo of them with the sweater on, still in the store. And this was like a little indie store where the person who made the sweater was in the store selling their wares, and they were really excited about the photo I took. And they said, "Could you send me that photo because I like it, and could I use it?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I
Like let
looked,
me
and they had an
airdrop it.
iPhone. But they had an iPhone, and I'm like on my Pixel 10 Pro XL, and AirDrop had just landed. But here's the
Mm.
thing. This is an old iPhone. I have no idea what iPhone the guy has, right? Like it's like I see the
Ah,
notch and it's in a case. It could be like an 11 for all I know, right? Like I don't know what it is.
yeah.
And so I said, "Hey, turn on your AirDrop and make it allow anyone." And he kind of knew how to do that, strangely. So I did it. And he thought I had an iPhone because, Pixel in a case
Yeah.
kind of looks like an iPhone. And it just worked. And it was so good.
Hmm.
So this is
Yeah,
exciting.
and it's great. And I will say I did when I turned on Quick Share on my Galaxy, I was also like it gave me the whole thing like, oh, you can use, you can airdrop or send via airdrop. And then I had to turn on the hotspot from my Galaxy. And then because the hotspot was on, it told me that I could no longer send via airdrop, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
So
think
there's
like
some
that interferes
limitations.
with whatever, they're doing, whatever
Protocol is
workaround they're
using.
doing. But yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
So keep that in
Well,
mind,
yeah.
listeners.
So the next thing I have here is the Z Fold 8 wide renders have leaked. So
Ugh.
interesting, right? It's
Uh,
interesting. It has two cameras. I actually last week in the podcast
that
with
is
Nick Gray,
interesting.
I said that I thought that the Z Fold 8 and the Z Fold 8 Wide would be identical specs. Like, other than the
Yeah,
display size, they
that's
would
what I
have the
thought
same
too.
batteries, they would have the same cameras, they would have the same processors. But right
Yeah.
now, this looks like it has two cameras, which is more like the S25 Edge.
Edge. Yeah. So I'm like, where's the slot in? Like, is this going to be like a cheaper variant? Like,
I might be, and I'm actually welcoming that. To be honest with you, I'd be
I
into
mean,
that.
it would be nice, yeah, to have like a cheaper fold. Yes. But I think it looks ugly.
Oh yeah, well,
Like the aspect ratio of the outer display looks so awkward.
but I think the idea here is for content consumption. Like, I think,
I get that.
okay, first of all, I want to go back and say that I think Samsung's doing exactly what they did with last year's S25 Edge. And I
Mm,
love the Edge. Other than the battery, they should have had a silicon carbon battery. Other than that, that phone was
yeah.
mwah. And a lot of people
Yeah.
don't understand how good that phone was. It was great. But the mistake they're making is this is typical Samsung. And I hate that about them. And I told that to their face because they
No,
asked
I'm
me.
sure you
I had a
did.
Korean guy come up to me during the launch and he said to me, "Hey, what can we do better?" And I said, "Stop chasing Apple. Own your freaking personality and your own identity. Be
Hmm.
Samsung and forget
Yeah.
what they're doing. Do your own thing. And also stop ultraing poorly and start proing better." And
I
you know
think I
what I'm saying
remember
by
you
that?
saying this.
Well, because here's the thing, right? The Ultra right now is a solid phone, but to me, it's not Ultra. When you compare it to the Chinese Ultra phones, it's not an Ultra
Yeah.
phone. It's a Pro phone.
It's
You
losing
compare it
its
to the
edge.
iPhone, and it's a Pro phone, like the iPhone Pro Max series. It's great,
Yeah.
but make it a Pro phone, Pro hard, and then make it, if you want, go
And then
crazy and make
ultra
a
harder.
like ultra harder and make something that's niche and sells in like small quantities, like
Hmm.
just to show that you can do it. So maybe you can sell that in China only, whatever. But it's the same thing again. It's like they heard that an iPhone Air was coming, so then they made the S25 Edge, right? Because a
Yeah.
reactionary thing.
And it felt like they rushed it kind of.
And they heard that Apple's making a freaking,
Wide iPhone
wide
fold.
iPhone fold. And so now they're making a wide Samsung fold. And I'm like, what the hell, Samsung? Like, I'm not saying
Like,
you're wrong, but
I don't know. Like, I honestly, and I get the whole wide thing. Like, when I saw I'm not a huge fan of the big folds, but I did like the trifold because when it folds out, the aspect ratio feels more like a tablet.
correct.
And that feels more just like something I want to use instead of like the regular folds that we have now that are kind of just squares.
Yeah.
Um, and I like what I saw with the trifold, and I think they're like, all right, let's try this with just a single fold phone. And I don't know, just looking at the outer display, like the aspect ratio, it looks like like a 3 by 2 aspect ratio or something, and I don't know, it
I
doesn't look
kind of like
appealing
the
to me.
passport form factor of the original Pixel Fold, and
Yeah,
the Oppo Find N and Oppo Find N2 also had that aspect ratio. I don't mind, but
yeah,
I just,
I
what
don't
bothers
know.
me is
I
that
feel
it's
like
like,
this is a little bit wider.
yeah, it is, but I think Samsung bothers me that Samsung's just doing, we're going to do this because we hear that Apple's going to do this,
Mhm.
and I'm like, come
Yeah,
on. So anyway, we have renders, check them out.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think, this is exciting to me because variety is a spice of life. And I'm happy to see that we have some choices in folding phones, especially from one single manufacturer. And especially since the spec looked like it might be different, maybe it's cheaper, so that's good. Now, we have a bunch of OnePlus news that I'm a little concerned with. First of all, since we follow Chinese phones on this podcast, OnePlus 15T is out in China. This is a replacement of the OnePlus 13T last year, which also came out in India as the OnePlus 13S. This is a proper flagship, but it's small. It's 6.3-inch display. So it's the size of an iPhone 17 Pro, Pixel 10 Pro, which is welcome. Or I should say Xiaomi 17 is another phone that size as well. These are great because you're getting full-on flagship with a really small size. Now, there are two
Mhm.
things missing last year on the 13T because I borrowed one from Spencer for a week. The biggest problem is it had only two cameras and no
Mm.
ultra wide, just a really good telephoto and a really good main sensor. And then it didn't
Interesting.
have wireless charging, which for me is a problem. But because it's a flagship, I expect all flagships to have it. It's like a non-negotiable to me. But
Yeah.
this year they added wireless charging. Woohoo. But they still don't have an ultra wide. Like, why? Like,
Really?
Xiaomi
I
has
didn't
an
realize
ultra
that.
wide on the 17. Like, Pixel and Apple have ultra wides. Like, what are you doing, OnePlus? Like, where is this
Yeah,
coming from?
I learned from the Motorola Razr Plus 2024
Oh
that
my God.
I cannot live without an ultra wide. Like,
Yeah, I
having a
hear you.
telephoto is nice, but only if there is an ultra wide in addition to it. So
So this phone otherwise
that's
is great. Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. It's got a 7500 milliamp hour battery and a
75.
6.3-inch display. Yep. It
That is
has,
fantastic.
and it's only like, it's not super thick or anything. It's standard thickness, like 9 millimeters or something. It has, I said, two cameras, which is a bit weird. And, and then wireless charging, which is nice. And
It
yeah,
looks great.
it looks, and the colors are, that green. Oh,
Hmm.
I'm digging it. So anyway, talk about OnePlus, the CEO of OnePlus India, who's to be the CEO of OnePlus US, right? Robin
Hmm.
Liu stepped down as CEO of OnePlus India. So that's a bit odd because I thought they were doing
Yeah.
okay in India. And then we've been hearing this rumor for a while, and I didn't want to put too much weight into it. And again, when I hear rumors like that, I generally just brush them off because I'm just like, whatever, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. But you know, we did reach out to OnePlus while back, like all of us collectively, not specifically me, and we as media, and we did hear that everything was okay to stay hang tight. And then now we're hearing even
Hmm.
more rumors that they might be shutting down in Western markets, which is like what? And
Yeah.
that would be disastrous. Like, I feel like the only real Chinese phone connection we have in North America, especially in the US, is OnePlus. That's the only company that's delivering the kind of tech that China has, right? Like the silicon carbon
Hmm.
batteries and the crazy 50-watt wireless charging and like all that cool, like the 120-watt or 100-watt or 80-watt charging. How can we lose that? Like, we cannot lose that. Like, I am
Yeah.
so bummed if that's true.
Like it's almost triggering because like it's reminding me of when LG
And
exited the market, and
HTC.
I'm still I was a diehard LG fan, so like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
still like I still haven't recovered. Yeah, losing like the thing is, and OnePlus doesn't have a huge market in the US, but I at least like I like that they're still here, that we still have options, and to
It
lose
gives us
another option,
options. Yeah.
yeah, is just like I've been hoping that OnePlus would like return to carrier stores, for example. Like we don't see
Me
them in carrier stores
too.
anymore. And I want to see that because I'm tired of just seeing Samsung and Motorola. I
Yeah.
love Motorola, but like we need more.
We need
And
more
every time I go to
choice.
Europe or anywhere outside of the US,
Oh
I
my
see so
God.
many options. I see everyone on the trains using Xiaomi, using
I
Oppo, using everything
know.
under the sun. And then here it's just iPhone, Samsung, and maybe a Motorola if I'm lucky.
Yeah. And every now and then you're like, especially in the Bay Area where I live part time, you're like, wait a minute, that's a Pixel.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're seeing pixels more and more now,
There's quite a
which I
few
like.
Pixels because they're developers,
Yeah,
right? A lot of developers
yeah,
are.
and then like
But
every so often I'll see a OnePlus like on it, like and I will go up to the person and be
ecstatic.
like, I
I
like your
know, right?
OnePlus.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that a
totally.
OnePlus 13? Oh my gosh.
So now, obviously this is a rumor and we don't
Yeah.
know and I hope it's not true. But here's what's some people are going to say, well, hey, Realme can take up the slack because Realme has kind of been the poster child for affordability on the Oppo BBK group, ex BBK group world. And I agree to that to some extent. But the problem is Realme doesn't exist in North America. So
Yeah.
even in Canada. So my point is, like, I don't care what the brand is. Like, it could be Oppo for all I care that, but
Yeah.
we're losing the BBK group, what
Hmm.
was BBK group entry into the North American market. That's the big takeaway
Yeah.
here. It's not about
Yeah.
OnePlus per se, because all their phones are very similar and very great. I
Hmm.
love Realme's and I love Oppos as well. I've got my Oppo Find N6 here in my pocket right now. It's
Nice.
so freaking good. It's the best folding phone on the planet. It's in the
Ah, that looks
aramid case.
beautiful.
Look at this ultra thin case it's in. Like, it
Oh,
barely
yeah, I
makes the
love
thing
that.
thicker. This is so dope. I love
I
this
got
thing
something
so
similar.
much. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, no, I think if OnePlus is gonna go away, I would at least like to have Oppo here. Um,
yes.
like I even know some people here in Seattle who work for Oppo. So I'm just like, all
Oh,
right, like I don't know why they have anything here, but if they're gonna be here, then can they be here?
yeah,
Like,
right. Yeah. So anyway,
so I
we'll
mean,
wait and see. Fingers crossed, but I have a feeling these rumors keep coming in. This is a bad, bad
yeah,
omen.
because who's gonna take the place? Nothing.
No. I mean, I love nothing. Don't get me wrong. It's great, but they're
But
not.
nothing, yeah.
No, nothing is nothing right now, sadly, especially in our
And
market.
TCL is teetering on the edge
Oh,
of
TCL
relevancy.
is but they haven't made a flagship in forever. I wouldn't even buy one of their phones. I mean, as much as I like the Next Paper stuff, like don't get me wrong, I
Yeah,
love their stuff. It's just
it's great, but
it's not my
nothing
pay grade. Like
consumer
it's
appealing.
correct. All right.
Yeah.
So speaking of Oppo, we have some specs that have been officially announced on the Find X9 Ultra. That the it's going to have two telephotos, a 3x 200 megapixels. That's a rumor. So it's going to have a main 200 megapixel, a 3x 200 megapixel, and now we know officially that it's getting a 10x 50 megapixel camera as well. So wow,
Mm.
and of course now we have a launch date for April 20th. So stay tuned for that.
Ooh.
I've been getting all the Oppo phones, so there's a really good chance I will be getting the Ultra. I've gotten the X8 Ultra and the X7 Ultra before, so I'm very much looking forward to that because I'm a huge camera fan. And the X9 Pro that I have right now is the best flagship that I own. Like, not own, but
Mm.
have as a reviewer and device. Like, I have all the Chinese phones, and it's the best, in my opinion, currently. It's the benchmark of what a flagship should be. And it's not even an Ultra. And it blows away the S26 Ultra and the
Yeah.
iPhone. And it's just a Pro phone. So what is this going to bring to the table? I can't even wrap. And
I
it's coming to
know.
global markets. That's the other thing. This year, all
Oppo,
three,
bring it to the US.
no kidding, all three, the Vivo X300 Ultra, the Oppo Find X9 Ultra, and the Xiaomi 17 Ultra are all coming to global markets. For the first time, we
Oh,
have a
except for
triplicate
the
Ultra.
US.
Well, global markets means you can import them and it has Google Play services. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
my audience being tech savvy early adopters would be doing that. That's why I'm bringing it up, right?
Yeah.
So let's stay tuned for that. And then speaking of Vivo X300 Ultra, there's a couple of things that have been officially revealed. Some of the specs have been revealed by the manufacturer and the camera kit has been shown by the manufacturer. So I'll put some links to some GSM Arena stories on that. But what you need to know is, yes, it is just as crazy as you think it is. Again, 200 megapixel primary, 200 megapixel periscope telephoto, and 50 megapixel ultra wide on the camera front. And it looks like we're getting 100 watt wired, 40 watt wireless, and 6600 milliamp hour battery and 144 hertz refresh, 2K display. Wow. I mean,
It's solid.
it's ultraing. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, when I said
Hmm.
ultraing harder, like, this is what we're talking about, Samsung. Like,
And not
and I
just that,
know
but
it's a small niche
I
market, but
I've never used a Vivo phone, but every time I see a photo from a Vivo
it's
flagship,
great.
I am so shocked that it wasn't taken from like a regular DSLR.
Yeah.
Vivo makes that's fantastic camera quality. Like, so I'm excited for this.
Yeah, me too. So stay tuned. We'll find out more soon. There's a couple of more items here that I kind of like, haha, and also wow, not good. So Amazon is supposedly, there's rumors that they're going back to making a phone. You remember the Fire phone that was, I don't know if you were around for that. I was, and oh my God,
I
what a
remember
disaster that phone.
that.
I got a review in it. It was so bad.
It was
So
they were
bad.
doing like the 3D thing effect thing with that phone,
Mhm.
right?
And then they
For
had
like
no,
what
it was
reason?
no Play Store, no Google mobile services. It was all
Yeah.
Amazon store and stuff, and nobody wanted
Mm,
it because there were no apps and
yeah.
no apps that we wanted. And it was, cameras were mad. There's a lot of things that were mad. It just missed.
It was
There was
it
nothing
was so
wrong on the
gimmicky.
hardware per se, but it just missed. And I think so. Now we're hearing rumors like they're making an AI phone. That alone is just like putting me off.
Yeah, it just sounds like Rabbit R1 again, and
Yeah,
I don't
but more
know.
expensive. And then now you're
Yeah,
tied to
probably.
Amazon, which is kind of worse
Yeah.
in my opinion. At least with Rabbit, you're like, okay, these are independents. We'll support them, right?
Yeah, but with this, it's like you have to use
With this,
Alexa
you're like,
probably,
really?
and
Are you gonna mine all my data and sell it to, the government because you're in bed with them now? So like all the big tech companies? Ah, no, no, none of that.
I don't
So
know.
anyway,
I guess we'll see what
that's more of an
happens.
aha because I kind of feel like it's already going to be a failure in advance. Like I can, especially,
Yeah.
and I hope like if at least it has Google Play services and all that stuff, at least we're saved. But
Mhm.
if this is only Amazon like Fire Tablet, you are so screwed, Amazon. That phone is never gonna sell. Like I'm telling you now, if
Yeah.
you haven't learned that lesson, Mr. Jeff Bezos,
Well, it's Andy Jazzy now.
oh yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like he's still,
Yeah, I know.
he's still calling the shots up there
The
in this high
Bezos.
castle. You know it. The other thing we have is Android sideloading. So we now actually have a clear idea. I think it's pretty clear on how
Yeah,
I'll link to an Android Central story here on how sideloading is going to work. As you know, sideloading is going to be, controlled a bit more on the next version of Android. And it might trickle down to older version of Android because it's all probably controlled through Google mobile services. But I think it's actually important because even though I want to sideload 100%, I do feel that having some, security control on that is really important because especially
I
in
agree.
developing countries where people are swapping apps left, right, and center, like literally beaming apps to each other via quick share and stuff, it's pretty dangerous. Like that's how you can spread some pretty bad security stuff.
Mhm.
And so this is basically going to give you're going to request that you want to sideload. It's only something you have to do once. And then it's going to give a day before you can do it. And the reason for that is they don't want somebody to grab your phone off like the coffee shop table, and maybe, your phone's still unlocked and they can get in there and they can sideload an app, right? That's right now. You could do that right now. It wouldn't even ask you for your password. They just do it. So they want to avoid that. And so by putting a day in there, nobody can kind of come in and just like hijack your phone by putting an app on it or something. And that's the idea. And so I'm totally happy. Like when I get a phone, put it in immediately when I set it up. A day later, I can sideload stuff. Great. I'll wait a little bit. It's fine. How do you feel about that?
Think it's smart. I'm sure people will complain that,
Of
maybe
course, people will
Android is
complain.
becoming, more closed, but I don't necessarily see it as that. I just see Android as becoming more safe.
I agree.
Um,
I feel
you
it's
could
a
still do what
worthy
you want to do.
compromise. Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah. It's
agree.
smart.
Um,
This is Google being
yeah.
smart. Google, you know how to be smart sometimes.
For once,
Pixel
yes.
10a, come
Or not
on.
for once, but
Damn, I'm really butthurt by that Pixel
I
10a.
know.
Still, after weeks now, my review was done weeks ago. Jesus Christ. Okay, the last thing we have is more egregious. In the same way as the FCC has banned drones that are not manufactured in North America or in the US, to be specific, specifically for consumer use, they're doing the same with routers. This is not going to end well. Because you know what? The price of our routers is going to go way up because they're going to have to be manufactured in the US. And here's the
Mm.
worst part. This is only consumer grade routers. So if you want to buy like crazy business router, you can do that. It can be made anywhere in the world. So like you'd think that'd be the other way around. It'd be that the enterprise stuff would be for security, for national security. And I put big air quotes because we all know it's total BS because that stuff can be audited. The firmware can be checked. Like if they had did that to like commercial routers, I'd be like, okay, I can see that. But consumer routers? So that means that right now, if Asus comes out with a new router, like Wi-Fi 8 or Wi-Fi 7, whatever,
Mhm.
they're not going to be able to sell it in this country unless it's manufactured in the US. And I'm like, what?
The routers are already not cheap,
I know. So you know what that
especially if
really
you're
tells
like,
me? Here's what it tells me. I'll tell you what it tells me. This is actually a ploy so that the only routers you can buy are from your ISP, which
oh,
gives, again, the government, and again, you know me. If you're listening to the podcast for the first time, I'm a liberal, progressive person. I am not a conspiracy theorist at all. But the actions of our government since the last election have been egregiously clear that they want to surveil
mhm.
Americans. I want our country to be good, and it's not. And this is, I think, going to force us to have routers that are only approved by basically our carriers, our
And they're
ISPs.
not even that great.
They all suck, number one. Number two,
Yes.
they're still not made in the US, but I bet you these ISPs are going to get exceptions.
You're
Like,
right,
I guarantee
probably.
you. But
Yeah.
then you won't be able to just do what I did, because I have right now I have I don't know, like a Velop router from Linksys, right? Like a Wi-Fi 7 mesh setup. I bought it at Best Buy, like I just walked in and it was on sale, and that was the deal for me. This is in SF. Here I have an Amplify from what's that company? They make pro gear, but they also have a consumer line which is called Amplify. Anyway, so you're not gonna be able to do that, like, because I never use the router that's provided by ISP. I use that as a modem basically, and I bypass all the router stuff and I connect it to my own router. And of course, my routers are fine. I'm going to be able to use them for a few years. It's not going to be hitting me as a problem for 5 years or something now. But it's just egregious to me. Like, I'm pissed about it.
I know. I'm thinking I should probably just like go ahead and buy one right now.
You should. And actually, any router that's already on the market and has already been approved by the FCC is available.
It's available, yeah.
So the other thing is going to happen is we're going to start getting routers that are really old on sale, and the firmware is not going to get updated, right? So it's even more of a security hazard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, such a problem.
Ah.
Is America great yet?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I think this is a great way to end. Derek, tell people where they can find you on the internet, your various social media handles. Tell them about your Android Central work as well.
Yes, I am the managing editor of Android Central, so you can find all my work there, on our social media as well, Android Central, on Twitter, on Facebook, and then my own, if you want to follow me. I mean, I don't post a lot of tech related things, but hey, if you want to follow me, go ahead at I am Derek Lee on Instagram and Twitter. So it's I am DERREKLEE. Go ahead and give me a follow, and you can check out all my hilarious memes.
Yes, they are good. Are you also on Threads?
I am on Threads. I always forget that. Same
well,
handle.
I'm just checking because some people have Instagram only and they never signed up for Threads.
Yeah.
So just checking. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So folks, Derek is awesome. You got to follow him. You got to read his stuff on Android Central. Really good stuff. Good people. So be there or be square. And you know where to find me on the internet. I'm at Tankgirl, TNKGRL, like the comic book character. Drop all the vowels. You get my handle everywhere except on TikTok, where I added my year of birth. So see, it's TNKGRL69 on TikTok. Don't use it much, but I'm there. I'm mostly on Blue Sky and on Threads and on Instagram. Those are the ones. The podcast lives at mobiletechpodcast.com, or on all the major platforms. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, all that stuff. So go to their URL if you want to. There's links to subscribe to all the platforms real quick. And then there's a YouTube channel, youtube.com/mobiletechpodcast, with some videos. You know how YouTube works. So like, subscribe, tell your friends, click the bell, comment on the videos. Let me know what you think. It's like unboxings and hands-ons and the occasional review. And then finally, there's a Patreon. Those of you on Patreon will be able to see the two phones we showed today, the iPhone 17e and the Tecno Camon 50 Ultra. So next time, if you want to help me and support me, there is the Patreon, and you can get for $5 a month every week the podcast on video a day in advance. So lots of perks there. And sometimes I leave extra content when we go over time. So you get sometimes extra content. You certainly get the video. You get to see our faces and the devices. I leave the bloopers in there when FedEx shows up and stuff in the middle of a recording. All of that for $5 a month, a day in advance, every week. So support me if you can. Patreon.com/TNKGRL. And finally, I want to thank our sponsor, Mint Mobile. I review a lot of phones, so I'm constantly juggling multiple devices. While that's fun, it also means I'm spending a lot of money for wireless service on multiple SIMs. Thankfully, there's Mint Mobile, and that's who I'm teaming up with for today's podcast. If you want to save money on your wireless service, switch to Mint Mobile. You've probably seen the Mint Mobile ads featuring Ryan Reynolds, but let me quickly tell you how fantastic their service is, especially for tech-savvy early adopters like us. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 a month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or data. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network. They keep costs low because they sell direct to you online. They cut out the retail stores and salespeople. Why should you pay more than you have to for access to the same network? In my experience testing phones, Mint Mobile delivers the same data speeds and call quality as the big three for a fraction of the cost. Switching to Mint is super easy. Thanks to their eSIMs, you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. No more standing around waiting in line at a big wireless store. You can keep your current devices and phone number and easily switch services. And if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will ship you a new SIM card free of charge. The whole process only takes 15 minutes, and if you get stuck, Mint has a great customer service team to get you through it. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning-fast 5G and free mobile hotspot. Mint will show you how much data you use each month and recommend plans that save you money. Mint also offers a modern family plan that lets you set up a super affordable family plan with as little as 2 lines. Use my link, mintmobile.com/mobiletech, to get premium wireless starting at $15 a month. Stop paying more than you need on your wireless bill and start saving big with Mint Mobile. And Derek, thanks so much for joining me and helping Nick Sutrich out by replacing him. I appreciate having you here. Thanks.
Yeah, I was happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll have you on again in the future. And folks, stay tuned. I'll have another podcast next week. Until then, cheers, everybody.
This has been the Mobile Tech Podcast with Tank Girl, proudly presented by worldpodcasts.com. You can visit us online at mobiletechpodcast.com.